All right. So the next topic that we are going to see is lists in Python. So in this, we will be learning about Python list. We'll see how to create a list, how to access list elements or items, and we'll see what are list methods that Python has support for. So we'll see how to create a list. So we know that list is a collection which is ordered and changeable. So here changeable means it is mutable in nature. We can create the list and we can change the list at any moment of time. And list can store any number of values dynamically, and it maintains order of them, and it allows duplicate elements. And also list is heterogeneous data type. It means it can hold data from different data types, like it can hold strings, integers, negative integers, floating point values, Boolean values, and so on. And lists in Python are written in square brackets, and we can find the length of list using the len function or len method that is going to return the total number of elements present in a list. Now let's see how to access list items or elements. So list items can be accessed using indexing. Indexing here is nothing but a concept of reaching out to a particular item or element in a list. Because list is a sequence, we can perform indexing on it because elements will be sitting at different index positions or specific index position. And indexing starts from 0 and goes up to length -1. And we can also perform slicing. So slicing is based on indexing only, and it is used to access multiple items from the list. Indexing is going to access only one element or item from the list, whereas slicing is going to access multiple items or elements from the list. Now let's see list methods. So Python has support for many list methods that are built in, that are already available. So using list methods, we can add and remove elements to and fro from the list. Let's talk about the elements using which we can add, methods using which we can add elements to the list. First one is append, that is going to add one single element to the end of the list. Then we have insert, that is used to add an element to specified index position. And then we have extend that is going to add multiple elements to the end of the list. And then using remove, we can remove one single element or actual element from the list. And pop is used to pop or remove the last element from the list. Or we can also specify index to the pop, using which the element at that specific index would get popped out. Now let's hop to the PyCharm and see how we can create the list, access the list items, and then perform these list methods. Now here on the PyCharm, I'm going to right click on the project name, create a new Python file, and name this to be lists. So we need not name the file as list because list is a built-in. So I've written lists. Let me say list is a sequence or a collection which is ordered and mutable. Mutable here is it is changeable. Now let's go and create a list. So I'll first create a list variable, list. So if you see, this list is built in, so we need not write the name of the variable as list. So I'll just skip this I, and let's say the variable name is lst, and print is lst, and also check the data type of it. So if you see here, there are no elements in our list. So let's run and check what output it gives. There we go. You see, this gives us the empty list. Now to the same list, I'm going to add some elements inside the square bracket. So let's say 10, 20, 30, Python, -10, and 35.5 are my elements. And now I'll say print list. And you see, this list is heterogeneous because it holds the data of integers, string, negative integer, and floating point value. Now we'll try doing indexing on this list. So as I already mentioned, indexing starts from 0. So it means that the index position of 10 is 0. So 10 is at index position 0, 20 is 1, 30 is at 2, Python is at 3, and so on. Now, if I say LST square bracket, then mention the index position, it should return the index position element at that particular index position. So now when I run, you see the output is 10. Similarly, LST of 2 should give me 30, and you see the output is 30. And indexing can also be done from a right-hand side, but indexing from right-hand side starts with negative value. So it means 33.5 is at index position -1, -10 is at index position -2. So if I go and write -2, this is known as negative indexing, and I get the output as -10. If I say print LST of, let's say, 7 and run, you see this gives me an error list index out of range because the last index position that we have is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Anything greater than 5 would give me an error. So I'm going to comment this. Now let's see what slicing is. So for slicing, we need to make use of the slice syntax because here we are going to print multiple elements at a time. So the slice syntax makes use of the start index, let's say 0, followed by colon, and the end index, let's say 4. So this slice syntax should give me elements from 0 to 4, including 0, but excluding 4. It means from 0 to 3, elements that are at index position 0 to 3. So it should be 0, 1, 2, 3. So it should give me the output 10, 20, 30, and Python. You see the output is 10, 20, 30, and Python. The higher index is always excluded. So it is anything between lower index or start index and higher index or end index, including the start index, excluding the end index. I can also do the slicing with negative indexing. So I'll say -3 colon -1. Anything between -3 and -1, including -3, excluding -1, is Python and -10. Let's run and check. And you see the output is Python and -10. Now I can just write colon and say 4 and run. So here, if you see, this gives me the output 10, 20, 30, -10. I haven't specified the start index, but I've specified the end index. So it will by default start from the very first. And here, if I say 3 colon, I have specified the start index, but I haven't specified the end. So it means it will start from 3 and print all the other elements after 3. So that's why it gives Python -10 and 33.5. Now let's see what are list methods. So the first method we have is append, that is going to add one single element to the list. So I'll say lst.append. Let's say I want to append the element 40. When I print lst, so it should add element 40 to the end of my list. So you see 40 has been added. What if I want to have an element added at specified index position? Then I can make use of insert. Insert will take two arguments. One is the index position and the other is the element that is to be added. So lst.insert. Let's say I want to add 50 after 10. So that becomes index position 1, right? So I'll say 1, 50 and lst. And you see 50 has been added after 10. Now, what if I want to add multiple elements to the list? I can make use of extend. but these elements would get added at the end of the list. And whenever you have to add multiple elements, you should make use of square bracket. Let's say I want to add 1, 2, 3 to the end of the list. And now when I say print list, you see after 40, I get 1, 2, and 3. So this was how we add elements to the list. Now let's see how we can remove elements from the list. So using remove, we can remove the actual element. For example, if I want to remove the element 20, so I can directly go and say lst.remove, print lst, and run. There we go. You see 20 has been removed from the list. Now let's see how we can pop. So here I'll say lst.pop. So pop will remove the last element as it is LIFO, last in, first out. So now when I run, you see the element 3 has been popped out. You can also use pop to remove the element at specified index. So I can say lst.pop and mention the index position at which the element is present has to be removed. So when I say 1, this doesn't mean this 1 because here 1 is the actual element. So I can say print lst now. So this should remove the element 50 and not the element 1. Now you see 50 has been popped out because this is the index position, not the actual element. So this is how we can add and remove elements from the list. I can also go and do for delete. So delete lst of, again here I need to mention the index position. Let's say I want to delete the element at index position 4. And now when I go and see the element 35.5 has been deleted. I can also find maximum and minimum element from my list. So I can say print max of LST and print min of LST. So this should give me 40 and minus 10. Let's run and check what output it gives. So you see, it gives me an error saying type error, this greater than operator does not support between instance of string and list. Why is that? Because in our list, we have a string called Python. So if I want to find the maximum or minimum elements from my list, I just need to first remove that. So what I'll do, I'll say lst.remove. I'll remove the element Python, then print the list. And now when I go and run, it should give me the maximum element to be 40 and minimum element to be -1.